Hello everyone, and welcome to the Pisces Guide to Pop Culture. I'm of course your host TJ West. Now it's been a while since we've done a movie here at the Pisces Guide, so I thought I'd talk about Echo Valley, the new Apple TV Plus film starring Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney, which just premiered this past weekend. I loved it. I think that, it's it's quite an absurd movie. It's very much a potboiler and very much a maternal melodrama, and it doesn't always make a lot of sense, narratively speaking. But I don't care. If there's one rule when it comes to movies and TV shows, if it has Julianne Moore in it, I'm going to watch it. And so, when I saw that she was going to be in this film, I thought, oh, well, this is going to be fun. So, just a brief plot summary. Julianne Moore stars as Kate, who is a divorced mother whose lesbian wife has passed away before the movie begins. She has a vexed relationship with her daughter Claire, played by Sydney Sweeney, who is a drug addict, and whose actions kind of lead Kate's life into a spiral of chaos. Kate ends up dumping a body in a lake. She thinks it's Claire's boyfriend, but it's not. She gets blackmailed by this, skanky drug dealer played by Donald Gleason, and then, but her lesbian best friend, played by Fiona Shaw, ends up helping her, and she ends up escaping in the end, and ends up reuniting with her daughter at the very end. So there's a lot of spoilers there, but I mean, if you've watched a movie like this, you kind of know the beats, you know how this is going to go. I've heard it referred to as basically a Lifetime movie with A-list production values, and I think there's a lot to that. That's not an indictment, that's not a judgment. I think that there's something to be said for kind of soapy, melodramatic storytelling. I think that that's quite pleasurable, and I think that the film, despite all these excesses and all these sort of plot contrivances, really does speak to the vexed relationship between mothers and daughters. It really kind of gets to some thorny, troubling stuff about addiction. Like, there's this scene with Sydney Sweeney, who's just kind of like losing it because she tells her mother that she needs the money to pay off Donald Gleason's Jackie, who, seems to have some kind of hold over her. But I strongly suspect, and I think the movie intends us to believe, that it's to get her next fix. Regardless, it's a truly unhinged and terrifying performance from Sweeney, and I think that even though this film is never going to be considered for an Oscar, she certainly deserves one for that performance alone. But as I said at the top, it's Julianne Moore who is really my reason for watching it. And I think that Julianne Moore has time and again shown that she is not just one of the greatest actresses of her generation. That's obviously true. I don't think that's any kind of outstanding revelation on my part. But she's also just really good at playing melodramatic roles like this. She has this kind of steely interiority, but she also has this external kind of vulnerability. And you see it in everything from Todd Haynes' Far From Heaven. You see it in Pedro Almodovar's Parallel Rooms, or the room next door. So you kind of, and you see these moments in all these other films, and also in this one, where she has this kind of combination, this vulnerability with this extraordinary strength. And I think that more than almost any other actress working today, and I've obviously worshipped the altar of Cate Blanchett and other people, Moore really captures them both, sometimes in the same frame. But for me, so there's obviously the scene with Claire who's losing her mind. But the other more powerful scene, I think, is where Kate, that's Julianne Moore's character, is bonding with Fiona Shaw, who plays her lesbian best friend, and they have this moment of drinking and dancing and recollecting and reminiscing, and it's just this extraordinary moment that we get to see two queer older women kind of just living and being together. And I don't see a lot of that in pop culture. I mean, it's fair to say, I think that queer women get the short end of the stick when it comes to pop culture. But that really made it really phenomenal to see these two extraordinary women kind of just bonding. And the fact that it's, Fiona Shaw's character who helps her get out of this mess that she's landed in, I think just solidifies their bond. And I just like Fiona Shaw. I think she's extraordinary. I mean, obviously most people my age remember her as Aunt Petunia from the Harry Potter movies, but I really do think that she is so much more than that. She has this kind of remarkable ability to play any character that you throw at her, she can play. And I think that that's fantastic. And I like seeing her play queer characters, especially as a queer woman. I think that, that gives her an extra power. Also, she kind of looks like my mom and also my best friend's aunt. So I think there's a lot going on with my adulation and adoration of Fiona Shaw. But back to Julianne Moore. I think she's extraordinary in this movie. It is, to be sure, an absolutely absurd movie, but I loved it anyway. And I mean, I love maternal melodramas. Like any gay boy, I obviously have, strong feelings about mothers and my own mother and all that sort of thing. And so any kind of movie that's kind of tapping into that feeling, that nest of feelings and complicated emotions, I think is really worth celebrating. And if anyone can pull it off, it's Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney. My last comment I'll make is I do wish we had gotten more of the two of them together. Like, we have some bonding moments earlier in the film, but once Claire's duplicity is revealed, she kind of disappears from the story. And I really think that it would have helped it a little bit more to get some more heft to their bond and to show just how much Kate really loves and is willing to sacrifice. That would, I mean, it has very much Mildred Pierce vibes, the 1940s melodrama with Joan Crawford, who plays similarly a mother devoted to a terrible, shitty daughter. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I do think that if you like maternal melodramas, if you like potboilers, if you like kind of neo-noirs, I think that you'll find a lot to enjoy about Echo Valley. Don't let the naysayers discourage you. It's more than worth the price of admission to see Julianne Moore, Fiona Shaw, and Sydney Sweeney, all of whom are extraordinary in their own rights and really kind of cook where they're in their element in this movie. So once again, that is Echo Valley. Pulling up the image here. It's a great photo. I love this theatrical poster. The only thing is I wish it had been on a big screen. It would have been great to see, but, you know, we live in the age of streaming, so we do what we can. So anyway, that's my recommendation. It does get the Pisces Guide to Pop Culture seal of approval. So that is all for today. I'm, of course, your host, TJ, and take care, y'all.